You know, we were just sitting here and we were talking about voting and talking about African Americans, talking about the black vote and the lack of the black vote in local elections. You know, this is the question, my brothers and my sisters. Why aren't you going out to vote, especially in local politics? Do you know how important it is to vote in local politics? I really don't think people understand that to vote in local politics is much more important than even voting in national elections.
Let me ask you guys this. What do you think affects our schooling, our kids getting medical attention, music programs being cut, art programs being cut,
women's issues,
Planned Parenthood being, funding being cut? Do you know why that's all being affected right now? It's because we're not voting in our local elections.
That's right.
What is happening right now is happening right in your neck of the woods, right in your backyard. People are thinking that President Obama is going to do everything for us, that he makes all the decisions, and he doesn't. He's even verbally told us that it's on his platform not to leave him alone, that yes, we can together make changes, make things happen to make our lives easier.
That's right. And I hear people all the time sit around and say, well, what has Obama done? Well, what have you done? I mean, look at the people in Wisconsin, how they're changing what has happened in their backyard. But you know what? They were asleep for a while, but now they have awakened and they are fighting back. When are we going to wake up, people, and start to vote? You know, I hear that, well, in fact, I was in a meeting last week, and there was someone in the meeting, a white male, who said that he was very upset with the African American community. And I really started to get upset with him because I'm thinking, why are you upset with us? He said, because we're not showing up to vote at all. He said, and we should. And he said, and then other people were saying, well, you know, they're intimidated. And another person said, you know what, I'm tired of hearing that. And you know what? I'm tired of hearing that too.
But why are you intimidated? People are saying they're intimidated because we need to get an ID to go and vote. Are you serious?
They're intimidated because a police car is sitting across the street.
Are you serious?
Let me tell you something. John Lewis and other people like him were attacked by dogs. They were water hosed down. They were hung for the right for you and I to vote. And for you to allow a police car sitting across the street,
or the lack of getting a $10 ID,
and maybe it's $20, who knows,
whatever.
Who cares, but whatever it takes for you to exercise your right to vote, you should do it.
I feel like we waste a lot of time complaining. I feel like we waste a lot of money on things that really don't mean anything, like shoes or a new pair of a new set of rims, or I don't know, pleasures, but we can't spend $10, $15, or even $20 to get an ID for something as important as this.
And you know what? When you start to do your homework, you're going to find that the very people who are cutting all these programs, are cutting everything that affects our family, our children, you're going to find that those are the products that we are spending our money on. Why don't you do your research and think about where you're putting your money and spending your money on? You're going to think about, maybe I shouldn't be putting my money there because the same group that I'm supporting do not support me. It's hurting you. People, you know, do your research. It's a shame that we are not even in the black community. No one courts our vote anymore. You know why? Because now they're courting the Latino votes because they figure we don't vote anyway. We don't even count. You know how hard it is for our congressmen and our senators to get anything done in Washington because no one cares, because they figure that the black vote really doesn't matter. When is the last time anybody came to your community to try to court your black vote?
We are no longer, as African Americans, blacks, however you want to call it, we are no longer the major minority. I hope you guys can understand that. We are no longer the major minority because we do not have a voice, because we do nothing.
That's right.
And it's affecting. It's affecting us.
And don't get us wrong. We're not talking about every black American, every African American. We're not talking about everyone. There are some people that are doing. It's not enough of us. It's not enough, people. It's not enough. We're on Facebook. We're talking about all our personal things, but what we should be talking about is voting. I mean, look at Occupy Wall Street and what they've done. But look, when it came to Atlanta, most of those people that were at Occupy Wall Street,
Occupy
Atlanta, lived in the park.
It wasn't people that actually showed up and had a right to fight, or you had a voice or had something they wanted to say. It was people who already lived in the freaking park, people.
A lot of them. And then
more of us should have showed up.
That's right. And you know what? We're concerned about our jobs. We're concerned about we're going to be fired. Let me tell you something. If you don't stand up for your rights, you're going to be fired anyway. How do you think the right to work became law in Georgia? Because your local politics voted for it. Local politics voted for it. And didn't you hear that now Obama's ratings are going down because of the gas prices? Let me tell you something. Congress runs the White House. Congress approves everything. And so therefore Obama can't get anything passed because Congress has to approve it. And guess what? They're not going to approve anything because it is their it's their objective, it's their goal to make Obama look really, really bad. So they're not going to approve anything. And let me tell you about this guy. Who's the guy that's going around saying he's going to get $2 gas? Do your homework, people. You're going to find out he can't get $2 gas. See, they believe, and guess what? He was, when he talked about that in Mississippi, he became the front runner. You know why? Because they believe that people in the South believe anything. They don't believe that we read and do our research. They believe they can come out and tell us that the sky is falling and we are going to believe it because we won't go to a book and get the information for ourselves. We need to do some research. You need to look at what's going on in politics. You need to follow politics a little bit, and you need to go register to vote.
Yeah, we're not saying that you have to be politicians or become totally informed with everything, because there are a lot of facets, a lot of intricacies that we probably will never understand unless we were in it directly. But at least do some research to know who you're going to vote for in your local elections. At least do some research to know how you're going to be affected right at home, how your children are going to be infected.
That's right. That's what, you know, we suffer, our people suffer as a result of a lack of knowledge. And, you know, and now we're suffering because we're not exercising the God-given right, the right that was fought for us by our ancestors to vote. I mean, in local elections, I can't not emphasize it enough. Local elections are so important because the local politics play a major role in major politics. And so we just want to wait and we'll just go cast our vote for Obama. Guess what? Obama can't do anything unless he has some power behind him.
Right. Just like we are that power.
We are that power behind him. You must get up and register to vote. And if you haven't voted since the last time you voted for Obama, guess what? You are not even registered anymore. So you need to go check and make sure you're still registered to vote.
And it's easy to check. You can check online. You don't have to go to the local office or anything. You can check online and see if you're in. If you're not, you can register online. It's very easy.
Absolutely. There is no excuse, people, for us sitting around and complaining about things. And if you're not registered to vote, and if you don't exercise the right to vote, and not only that, you have family members that are old and maybe don't have a ride. People don't have the funding anymore maybe to go pick people up to take them to the polls. You need to make sure that your elderly parents get to the poll and vote. You need to make sure that you're helping them check on their paperwork, because believe it or not, our elderly, they will vote.
They will.
But see, a lot of times they can't get around like they used to, and we just kind of leave them behind. Listen, if you have a elderly grandmother or aunt, anybody in your family, you need to make it your business to make sure they get to the polls and vote.
And even for the younger people, if you have someone old enough to vote in your home, or someone you know that's old enough to vote and you don't think that they're registered, make sure that they get registered. If it's your family member, take them with you. You guys find rides to get to the mall, or to get to a party, or get to a concert. Find a way to get to your local polling place. Because
you know what? At the end of the day, if you don't exercise your right to vote, you just don't matter. You really don't. And you know what? Instead of you spending all your money, as we mentioned before, on all these things that are not adding any value to your life, add some value in your life. And it doesn't matter. You say, well, I don't think I can vote because I've been to jail. You don't know whether or not you can vote unless you go and try to vote. And you know what? If someone's trying to intimidate you, God did not give you a spirit of fear. He gave you a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So don't, where are the people that stood up? What's happening to us where we don't stand up anymore, where we're so afraid of this and afraid of that?
The smallest things. I mean, I can't imagine living in a time where I was getting attacked by dogs, or hosed with water hose, or beaten with nightsticks because I couldn't vote.
Let me tell you something.
Or because I couldn't protest. And we have the free will to do it. We have the freedom to do it. And we don't.
That's right. You know what? Let me tell you something. If I was being attacked by a dog, I tell you, I probably have a hard time going to vote because I'm afraid of dogs. But look at John Lewis and other people who did not. He's been spit on recently, but yet he still stands up. And everybody's saying, well, what is John Lewis doing? What are all these those people are now elderly people, and they're trying to hold on. They need you. They need you to stand up.
You know, we don't have to fight or get aggressive or get ghetto or angry. You know how we fight, people? We fight with our votes. We fight with doing things in writing, pencil and paper. That's
right.
how we fight. That's how we get to higher heights in life.
That's right. And not only that, not only do you fight with your vote, you fight with your money. If you got, and now look at, if you have those people that is putting all their money behind a party, a race, or candidate that's not doing anything for you, you need to stop buying from them, and you need to tell everybody else about them. You need to do that. Look at these large gas companies like BP that is putting their money behind people that don't care about us. Don't buy BP gas. Go somewhere else and buy some gas. That's what we need to be doing, people. But most of all, we need to vote.
Small, simple changes can make a huge difference if we all work together.
You know, let me tell you something. That reminds me about working together, that when God looked down and he saw that the people were building a ladder. This is talking about the Tower of Babel. They were building a ladder to make it to heaven. You know what God said? God said, you know what? We need to confuse their language, because if they continue to speak the same language, guess what? They will make it to heaven. So guess what, people? If we continue to work together, if we start to work together, we can do anything. There is nothing that we can't do. You know, Martin Luther King said that churches were going to become a social club and they were going to fall asleep. And I believe that right now we're living in a time where churches are asleep. When's the last time you sat in a church and a church talked about telling everybody to go out and register to vote? Churches are afraid. You need to wake up, churches. I go to church. I love God, but you know what? Churches are asleep and they need to wake up. They need to start giving more instruction to the people in their congregation about going out to vote and why it's so important to vote.
Bottom line is, wake up, people.
Wake up. You have heard that.
It's time to wake up, and it's time to put real action behind your words. Stop sitting back and complaining about what's not being done, because the people that get things done are us.
Absolutely. And women, I'm calling all women to stand up. You can reach us at andygray@gmail.com if you're one of those women, and men too, but you know what? Women, we get it done, don't we? So if you're one of those women that's willing to stand up, you know, give us a shout out at andygray@gmail.com. You've heard this from I Am Now Power. You can go to our website and get more information, www.iamnowpower.com. If you didn't like what we said, too bad for you. Get up and vote. You won't have to hear this.
And look, if y'all need a ride to the polling place or you need the voting registration forms, some of y'all know me on Facebook. Just write me and let me know, okay?
Absolutely. But you know, make sure that you're registered. Just because you were registered before doesn't mean you're registered now. So make sure you're registered. Stop being lazy.
I will personally mail y'all the registration form. It's that simple.
Absolutely. Okay. Stop being lazy. Get out and vote. You've heard it from us. Seriously. See you next time. Peace out.